Welcome to another episode of Love Living Local 315. We are your hosts, Scott and Kelly Greats. Today, we are joined by Ujj Rai, a social entrepreneur, community builder, and founder of Nyano and Muju. From global banking to grassroots business, Ujj is helping solo entrepreneurs rise and proving you don't need a seat at the table if you build your own. Ujj, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Lot to dive into here, but let's start in the beginning, right? So
Right.
Humble beginnings. And actually, I want to start with, we talked in the intro about being a social entrepreneur.
Right.
What is that?
So for me, when I say I'm a social entrepreneur, what I'm trying to say is my business idea comes from looking at the social problem. So I see business as a tool to solve the social problem, right? What I believe is charity work is not enough. But at the same time, for me, profit is not everything, right?
Mm.
So it's like how we can solve systemic social problem that I and my community collectively experiencing, uh, but in a sustainable way, right? So we are not depending on someone's money that give us and then we'll do the good work. But at the same time, we're not playing a game of winner takes all.
Mm.
Right? Can we
Yeah.
can we be in the middle, right? So I mean, taking it more, giving the context to that. So I grew up as a pastor kid. So while growing up in Nepal, as a pastor, my father will take the church money and we'll go to the villages where, especially to the villages where according to the caste system, untouchable caste will live.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go there and I'll see my father and other church deacons who will giving out money and giving donation. But I was 13 and I'm looking at this. I'm not sure how do I feel about this. It's I'm there. It feels good, right? It definitely feels good, right? Because you're trying to help out. But 13 years old kid, something is not right. So then, talking to my father and then, and then we were like, we got to do something else. So then back then, because we had the electricity problem, then we got into, collecting wax and making a candle and, taking to the community and saying that, hey, it'll be really nice if you could make some candle and that money could go to our your children education. So that's how, just giving a context, right?
Yeah.
So it's been always about how we can use business as to solve the real problem. So that's the reason I call myself social entrepreneur. Just I start my business idea always start with a problem.
Yeah.
But just a quick note on the social entrepreneur, right? So I'm not trying to advocate or encourage people, but if it as an entrepreneur also, right, you got to start with a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You got to fall in love with the problem.
Yeah.
You need to see the gravity of the problem. How big is the problem, right? And so but for me, it's a social problem. For others, it may be, the niche market they're trying to find, to make some money, which is okay.
Yeah.
We need we need people who make money, you know what I mean? Sustainable way to provide jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, for me, let's
Yeah,
solve
what
the
a
social
great
problem.
answer. And it's something, honestly, being in the entrepreneurial space, I've never really thought about it that way, to be honest with you.
It is.
And
It's brilliant because you have to do something that you want to do to help others, but at the same time make money. And it's
Absolutely.
finding that balance.
Exactly.
You're making the world a better place, but you're still making money so that you can survive.
and the idea that, of charity, and we do this all the time. We throw money at things as if money is going to help solve something, and it's a Band-Aid, right?
Right.
It gives a little hope or something for a minute. But what you're talking about is, hey, let's figure out the core, right? The root of the problem.
Right.
and
Let's get into the problem, right? And I think as a business consultant right now at SBDC too, right? It's like we want to build a solution, right? And we would think like we can make so much money with the solution. That's right. But you need to understand the problem all the way in,
Yeah.
right? Like from a very tiny point all the way to macroeconomics, you need to look at the problem.
So we're going to dive into a few different things that you have going on, but you mentioned SBDC for the audience, that's Small Business Development Center. You're working for who right now and in what capacity?
So I work for Mohawk Valley SBDC. I work as a business consultant. So right now I just work with the clients, from who are just starting up, with just an idea to a person who is building AI agent, like who will be working on behalf of you while even you are sleeping.
Hmm.
So that's a range. But like, so that I love it because it's just like I get to be part of someone's journey because it's for me, it's a privilege, to be part of someone's entrepreneurial journey.
Hmm.
And this is what I love, it's just like sitting down, talking about the problem and what they're thinking. I don't want to be naive to say that everything is only problem solving. But it's a number too.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, you got to know the numbers too, right? So
Yeah.
as VDC guy, so we talk about problem, strategy, and all those things, but it just like talk about all the financial projection. So like just kind of like giving like more information on the Mohawk Valley as VDC is just like, so we kind of in our like we try to sit at the center of the ecosystem where entrepreneur can come,
Hmm.
because for any entrepreneur, any business to thrive, we need to have an ecosystem, right? We need to have education. We need to have a policy maker. We need to have a VCs who got money. We need bank, right? And then we need the local government coming together, right? So SBDC is like sitting at the center where entrepreneur can come, let's work on the idea, let's make it solid, let's get some data in, let's see the viability of it, and then after that, who you need to go,
Yeah.
right? Do you need more training to build your capacity, or you need to go to the bank for the loan? Okay, well, we can sit down and build a projection. Or you need to reach out to VCs, then let's work on a pitch deck.
Yeah.
So that's that. Or we need to look at the policy. Then we can go to the local policy maker, and then talk about how you're trying to disrupt the system. So
How do people enter your ecosystem and how do you choose who you work with?
like SVDC is free. It's like no cost. So it's just people fill out the form and saying that this is what they're working on, right? So a lot of people think they need to come to us like when things go really south. That's not the
Too
case.
late.
That's
You're not-
not that. I mean, we would love to be help. We would love to work,
You're
right?
not, you're not a fixer.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But so what I wanted to say is like we want to grow together, right? Whether your idea is still in your imagination from you're making millions of dollars, right? We want to be part, right? Because it's like you're welcome, like wherever you are in the spectrum, right? Because as a business advisor and as a person who run a business, I feel like the core of the business is how we can delay being obsolete. Because sooner or later, all of us going to be obsolete. Our business, our ideas, we're going to be obsolete. But as a smart business person, goal is how we can delay that process, right? Sooner or later, Muju might be replaced, become obsolete. My goal as an owner is how we can delay that, right? And then that's where SBDC can come and just let's work on the strategy, how we can be relevant, how we can bring more products or service, how we can upsell, how we can look at the unit economics and make sense of it, but at the same time without cutting the corner.
Mhm.
Yeah, without doing any harm to our community.
And that's awesome just to know that. Like, I didn't even know that this organization existed. The fact that it's free and you're not even charging like
No,
a consult.
no,
And you're helping others, but by paying it forward, I guess is the way that I look at it.
a-
You want others to succeed,
absolutely.
and that's the community here. That's what we're building here in Utica is
Exactly.
helping each other to be successful.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's amazing.
That's like I always tell, right? Like a couple of things. I know like Ryan was here. Ryan is my mentor. So I've
Yep.
been like,
Ryan
very
Miller.
smart guy. Like, it comes up very humble, but that guy is super smart. I go to him all the time, right? So it's just like, that's the goal, right? At the end of
Right.
the day, I want to see Jevon Rooster becoming a franchise.
Mm.
At the end of the day, I want to see Elias Lafa becoming a franchise.
Mhm.
We want to go from, SMEs like a small, medium enterprise to innovative driven enterprise, right? I love to welcome businesses to Utica. I'm
Right.
happy but I will celebrate and,
Yeah. That's
and
awesome.
then we'll be happiest person when I hear Jevon's Rooster has become a franchise.
And the way you smile when you talk about success of others, it's just awesome. It's awesome
Yeah.
that's your passion.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
really is. So that's amazing. And another thing I love that you say is the fight isn't always about being at the table. Everybody, wants to fight for a seat at the table,
Right.
but creating your own. Like, can you expand on what that means in your life and how you came to this mantra, if you
Right.
will?
Let me give a couple two different answers to that, right? So in 2022, when I got a chance to go to Harvard, right, and I'm like super excited, right? I'm like super grateful. Like kind of like it's like 0 point some percent only get to
Mhm.
go to that
Yep.
college, right? Super grateful. And I go there and then I sit in a classroom where almost 97% of that in that specific class. So when our teacher said, "How many of you belong to, suburb people?" So they're like almost 97% students who come from lawyer,
Yep.
like super rich family,
Mhm.
right? And then you realize it's like, oh wow, it feels different, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you are there, and you are part
And you
of
deserve
Harvard.
to be there, but
Yes, but
yeah.
it's just like, you still feel like, oh wow, I'm not used to talking about business over the beer. I didn't grow up this way. I
Mhm.
don't know how to network.
Mhm.
So what I'm trying to say is like, you can be at the place, but you can still feel indifferent, but
Mhm.
not in a bad way.
Mhm.
But it's just like you never knew that's how things work.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's like my personal life, right? So in a business too, right? So right now, if we're talking about the Nano, so like for last 11 months, we're building this technology, right? Just to see your heart rate and breathing, you need to wear a $400 Apple Watch,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? And then I cannot wait and wait on Apple to say that, hey, one day they will get us, 80% of the people who are just wanting to check on what's going on with themselves. Apple is never going to do that because
Mhm.
their loyalty is to their shareholder,
Mm.
Yeah.
not to the people on the
Yeah.
ground, right? So for me, I'm like, I cannot wait on Apple to, hey, bring a cheaper version because they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So for me, building a table means, you know what? Let me jump in,
Mm.
right? So we started building it. So we started building technology that, that uses your front phone camera and you scan it for 40 seconds. You get your heart rate, your breathing, your blood pressure, your stress, how many hours you slept last night, right? And who doesn't have phone now, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
Right.
people have phone. So it's just like, so that's how I think, right? So like a family in the inner city who doesn't have access to heat, who just turn on the oven to warm their room, they still can check on how their heart is doing.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how like that's what I meant. You know what I mean? It's just like you may get to the place where you want to be, then you realize, oh, you're not sure how to act in this space.
Yeah.
But as a business too, it's like you cannot wait on the big guys to make a change that you want to see.
All right.
So you need to jump in.
You went to a lot of different places that we want to go there.
In detail.
Yeah. And let's connect the dots real quick.
Right.
So this idea of social entrepreneurship, right, is identifying a problem. So we've got that. What you just hit on is this proactive approach versus reactive instead of waiting for others, right? And you mentioned Apple, who is, they're in business to please their shareholders, right?
Absolutely.
Rightfully so. And so you look at that model and you're like, hey, I don't want to be a part of that table. I want to be proactive. Right. I've identified a problem we have that you're passionate about. And, I'm going to make the move. And so pretty awesome stuff, first of all.
Thank you.
Second of all, let's clarify Nyano is what? Like if you're explaining to our audience what Nyano is, what is it?
So Nyano is just a simple way to take care of yourself emotionally, physically, right? And then when I say this, right, I'm a very big believer of giving credit where it belongs. So I had a great conversation with Joan, a great conversation at the incubator, where we have a shared space where all the engineers, like business people who are trying to build, just come under the same roof, right? So you run into the random conversation that turns into a lot of knowledge. So before I get into Nyano, I wanted to give this is what Nyano is today is the outcome of a lot of conversation, the random conversation, but very powerful conversation. Mm-hmm. So Nyano initially was just like, hey, use this technology to scan your face and get the health metrics, right? Then the real problem in the market is just like, if I ask on a random guy, just like looking at not the control sample, but just like who wears the Apple Watch and that, hey, can you help me understand what does even 10 steps mean? Right? Can you help me? Like, what does that mean to your health? Or even what's the math behind 10 steps? Mm-hmm. I'll get a long pause, right? But at the same time, like life has been already super stressful, right? I mean, a lot of things are going on, and at the end of the day, when all you want to do is just crash on your couch, and then you get all these notifications saying that you need this complete the circle.
I'm sitting here with one on my arm. Yeah, I know all about it.
No, this is like so please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, it's just like then at the end of the day when you're trying to chill out, then you get all this like, hey, do this, do that. And I'm like, bro, my life is already stressful.
It makes me more stressed out. You are so right. With it, it'll say you need to take a deep breath. You need to. I'm like, I feel fine. What do you mean I need to take a deep breath?
Yeah, so it's just like, so we are.
That's why I don't wear one. So I got enough people telling me what to do.
This would be beeping out of control all the time.
So you know what I mean? So it's just like, and then another problem is just number, right? A lot of number-driven dashboard. It's just like, how many people really care about the numbers?
Right.
So, and then, as I said, a lot of conversation with Joan and, like other folks at the incubator. Then we were like, okay, how we can change it, right? Yes, we got the technology, we started, but now how we can make it more simple, accessible. So then now, coming to the product that we recently launched is now you can emotionally check in, right? When you open the app, you have like 9, 10 different emojis, right? If you're feeling grateful, you touch that and then write one-line journal saying that why I'm feeling grateful. And then it saves on your calendar, right? No expectation, no need of performance, just a pause, a space, and just write what you're feeling. And then we have a food where you can scan the food and get your macros in emojis.
That's huge,
Right.
because I can't even begin to know how to count my macros and stuff. So that's amazing.
Yeah. So, like we have like, if the calorie is high, you see the 3 fire emoji coming out.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, like you're aware.
You know you're not supposed to eat that.
No, I mean, like, you are aware,
Yeah.
but you're not stressed out. In the first place, you don't understand the number, right? At least you are aware. Like, because what Nyano is trying to do is like, just be aware, just intentional. You don't need to do all the maths.
Yes, it's little things.
Right. So and then you have a face, you can scan the face and then get the matrix. And after talking to Joan, we were like, what does that even matrix means here, And now there is a bottom, like where you touch it, and then AI will explain, what does your heart, like, if your blood pressure is like 120 by 80, what does that mean? And what are the couple of things you can do? Like, take a pause or drink a water, or, if you didn't sleep last night, then it says, hey, do you want some caffeine?
Yeah.
But in a way that doesn't push you into feeling that now you are expected to perform, you're expected to, do more things. Nyano is more like, hey, pause, do what you need to do, take care of yourself in your own term. And like, we are not in a data business. So all our data are saved in a local user's phone that even we don't have access to. We don't bring anything to our server because we are not in a data selling business, right? So we're just trying to solve the problem is all the fitness app, all this wellness app, all this meditation app is causing people to stress more.
More anxiety.
Yeah. And then we are coming and running against the culture saying that, you know what? Take care of yourself in your own term. No expectation, like no need of performance. No need to prove you complete the circle,
Or even in the space, it's all about supplements now. All right, you download these apps, and then all of a sudden they want to sell you a supplement that will fix you. And that's just like, it's crazy. It's mind blowing that people fall for that.
Absolutely. And then we were like, like you just do. This is your space. We're not trying to sell. This is it is. You do what you need to do. We don't have access to your data. What do you do? What, like emotional check-in? We are not a psychologist. We're not trying to replace any medical doctor.
Right.
But there are times where if you're feeling sad, you tap that emoji and then write. There's some kind of liberation happens.
Oh,
right?
it's therapy for sure.
Right. So that's the space we want it to be. So I'm sorry, Scott, like this is like we got a great team, but at the same time, we are the first in this space who is trying to bring check-in on emotion and physical body on the same app. Because it's all over, like, scattered all over the place. But we were like, hey, kind of, but at the end of the day, it's just like, this is a space.
For clarification, is this on the market?
Yes, it is on the market. Okay. Yes, we have 300 plus users. Okay. And then if you're worried about a face scan, we are not in the selling biometrics or someone where we are not a spy from China, like, the
paranoia out there right now is crazy.
We are not selling.
You're not going to change the spy from China people's mind.
So it's like, we are not trying to sell your face to the government. It's just like, hey, this is like your data is saved on your phone. We don't bring anything to the server. And the second thing is the breathing technology. And breathing and heart rate technology is FDA approved. So whenever you have a time, if you compare your Apple Watch or whatever watch you have with our technology, kind of the difference is only 2 points. Which is
that's amazing. The accuracy of it. I was going to ask.
So let's go deeper into logistics. Cost
of the Nyano.
Yeah.
So it's like $8.99 per month, which is like probably
that's
one-time medium-sized coffee, including tips.
So my daughter spends $8.99 a day at Dunkin'. Like that's one day.
Yeah, it's a one-time serving, right?
Yeah.
Then we have a quarterly, which is for $20. And then right now, we're trying to raise money because we need money for the marketing. We are offering a lifetime access for $120. So that's a lifetime access to Nyano and all the features.
The spelling is Nyano.
Right.
So it's in the App Store.
Right.
$8.99 a month, or however you want to do it.
And then
the 120 lifetime.
Sorry for coming in. It's just like we build a feature where you can invite up to 3 people.
That's what I was going to ask you about. Parents, elderly people, or things like that. So I'm glad that you're talking about this because that's something I'm definitely
so
very
you can
interested
invite and all this, and then like this is the feature we're gonna launch. It's too early. I need some marketing expert like Joan too. So over the Christmas we were like, what to do? I was down with the flu, and then what to do? So first thing is like people need to take care of themselves. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Self-care is important. At the end of the day, self-care is very important, right? But we need community too. So what we did is like when you look at the landscape right now, all the social media curates content for you, for us. In Nyano, you can curate your content for yourself. For example, let's say I'm feeling love today and I write, I can share that card to the people I want. And then those people can see what you're feeling today.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, kind of write a comment or react to that. So our team is aware of like priority is self-care, but it has to end in the context of community. But you are in control. Yeah. Nyano is not pushing another content in your feed, right? You curate your content. So that feature is there, but I thought it will be pushing too much. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason right now we are still in a phase 1 of informing people that emotional check-in part. Mm-hmm. But that feature is already built in where you can just text or share on your feed.
So it's unique because it's not a wearable. This is an app.
Yes.
And I open the app, it has access to my camera,
right?
And it does a face scan.
Yes, it uses the front camera.
And within seconds,
40 seconds,
40 seconds,
40 seconds,
that scan will give me results on what?
Your heart rate, your breathing, your blood pressure, how many hours you slept, how stressed you are. There are other things we can do too, but I thought it would be like... And you
went through the FDA approval process.
Yes, like the heart rate and the breathing is up to approval. But like for me, I mean, you guys are in a marketing business too. I mean, you understand the market, right? Mm-hmm. So right now, the point is not about FDA and all this thing, right? The point is like there is another option that lets you check on yourself without requiring a hardware and without requiring you to perform. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, right?
The blood pressure thing's wild. Well, it's all wild to me. But, so as someone who
struggles,
flirts with high blood pressure
he
from time
does.
to time. And my mother-in-law, who's in the medical field,
who brought one of those machines over and
cuff,
said,
that inflates.
I want Scott to do this once a week, and I want you to record the results. So
you're
I
saying
have a pen
40
and paper.
seconds, I can check my own blood pressure without the cuff.
Heart rate
well, you have a customer. He's going to have that app downloaded. I will make sure of it. That way I can check it too. I'm serious.
Here's my talk going back to the social entrepreneur, right? It's just like, we have so many people, right? So it's just like, how can we even expect people to purchase luxury watch
and
impossible. Then pay $600, $700? Yep. It's working for some people, very few people, which is good. I'm glad they can pay, they can afford. Mm-hmm. Nothing against them. But about almost 80% of people.
Yeah.
When I was talking to Joan, I always tell, right, when I drive to Herkimer and I see falling apart mobile home, what option do they have just to check on themselves, right? We go to inner city. Like, is the option only going to emergency when all the things happen, and now you're sitting with a $10,000 bill? So that's kind of thing really drives me and keeps me awake. So I I'm just coming back to Joe, and I was like, when you work with me, you said like, sometimes we'll be working till 3-4 in the morning, and just like, we have to pay the mortgage, we have to pay the bills, and we have to work too. But it's just like, these are the problem that is really we got to solve. And Nyano may not be able to solve all this, but at least we can kind of like save.
Give you a shake. And that's what I was going to say is like so many people, this is a piece of technology or something that can help someone to prevent something terrible that might be happening to them.
Exactly.
Because like that's what we went through, with Scott's father and a lot of people, they don't take care of themselves and the generation before us. Whereas I feel like the focus on self-care is more important now. But to be able to know, like some people may be walking around with high blood pressure and not even know it because they don't go to the doctor or they don't have a watch. And this is a way for them to check in with themselves and know, hey, like it's a wake-up call for a lot of people.
So let's go where you were going, because when I first saw this, and this is going to be different for everyone, but what intrigued me, and Kelly alluded to it, I lost my dad a couple of years ago, but before that, her and I together were really his caretaker for about 3 years. And we're working, we're raising our own family. He was living independently. We got him some help, but we didn't know where he was at physically, mentally,
and emotionally, like whether he was having a good day or a bad day. If I knew he was struggling, I'd be like, Paul, come over for dinner tonight. You know what I mean? Well, I'll be there in 15 minutes to pick you up. But
so this is a really cool tool in a society that has two working, for the most part, two workers, in the family, raising their own kids, digitally distracted all over the place with activities. We have this aging generation, right? Our parents, our grandparents, who are living longer, and I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole, but it's the idea of lifespan versus health span, Peter Attia. Where yes, they're living,
but what their quality?
But what's the quality of life and their health? And so for us, 40s, 50s, being able to provide our parents with something like this and be able to check in on them. So let me pause there. Is that in its current phase something like, can I have access to my mother's information?
I'm so super grateful the conversation is going that way. But at the same time, let me tell you that actually it all started kind of like with that being in our mind too, right? So my parents are back in Nepal, right? So my mental space is there all the time, right?
Yeah.
How are they doing?
Yes.
When I was in Boston, my parents-in-law, like here in Boston, here in Utica, right? So in my head, the mental space is always like, how are they doing? So that gap, right, is there, right? So right now we're trying to do with Nyano, but just not to distract you from the conversation or myself, because right now I'm trying to have a laser focus on keep the scope tight. But we do have a hardware. So we have a hardware that kids can buy for their parents. That's the idea. But we do have a prototype on my desk. So basically, that has a scanning system where it goes and sit on the parents' table and they can scan. And then that sends the report to the doctor and to you.
That's amazing.
And we built a kind of like a video call system. So when the matrix goes up, it sends a notification to the doctor to give a call. The video call to the parents to see what's going, because you might get a notification saying that their heart rate is not doing well, but we are not a medical people, right?
Yeah.
We can say, "Hey, you okay? Is there?"
Yeah, but that's not going to help them.
Yeah.
Right.
So we need the doctor stakeholder. but that's really expensive in the US, right?
Sure.
So we're trying to do some prototype in a developing world where the kids are in a developed world, their parents are still in a developing world, where at least the medical system is not as expensive as here, and their parents are there. So that hardware will kind of work as a point where parents can check in, do the video call, and then kids in America or doctor local will get the information in real time. So the real time check-in can happen.
Yeah.
So that's there, but I'm sorry, I'm not trying to distract. I'm not trying to come up as I'm a
it's
very
okay.
distracted person, but like that's prototype is there, but that's the idea right now. It's sitting on the table because what I feel right now is the urgency right now is we are living in a time where people are super stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got in this culture, right? As a refugee, as a person who needs to do everything to pay the bills, we live in a culture, right, where we were like, go, 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 go. But where?
Yeah.
How? We talk about this like,
What expense?
we talk about this American dream, all this, from, rages to rich and all this thing. But we hardly talk about at the cost of what?
Yeah.
Right. As a third of our country is on some sort of antidepressant or anti-anxiety med.
So we were like, hey, so that's the reason we were like, hey, this is a safe space. We are not a medical doctor. But hey, at least it gives you space to breathe. It takes you probably a few minutes away from social media. It probably takes you away from all this expectation to perform, despite of what's going on in your life. So that's the reason we are like, okay, that's important too. But like this is the problem we need to solve, and keeping us awake at night.
So let's talk about Muju.
Right.
And how it evolved into something more than a store. Let's spend a little bit of time on your other business.
No, absolutely. So Muju is very interesting, right? It's like we started Muju in our parents' basement as an online delivery. So what we found, my wife and I, is like new, immigrant, especially refugees. When we come to this country, we people on average usually work around 15 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about my father-in-law. He works at Chobani. So he spends 2 hours on commute. He works 12 hours a night shift, 6 days, 7 days a week. And in last 15 years, he has called only once. That time I took him to emergency because he had a severe headache, right? So in that context, he need to go to Walmart to buy all the things that house need.
Yeah.
But for food, he needs to go to another store, ethnic store, right? So how much time is spending just to get the things?
Yeah.
So we were like, if we could solve the problem of delivering all this ethnic food to people's home, they could sleep or they could spend time with their kids. They can at least say hi to their wife, or just give a hug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how it started in the basement. Soon enough, we realized, as we started doing it, it's like we find ourselves more building a community. We deliver to the people's home. Their children will come surround us, and then they will just jump into the bag, the deliveries. So we're like, hey, I think we are missing out on something here.
Yeah.
Right. And then, but at the same time, Utica is a great place to live. The diversity, the potential. But when was the last time you sat down and looked into someone's eye who comes from different ethnic background, different social background, have a very different story of, what we were like, not sure, right? So so that's the reason when we build the store that the foundation was, can Muju be the place where you walk into a person who is completely different from you and still can feel safe and have a conversation, right? So that's kind of the fundamental idea. So when you walk into the Muju right now, so the business is split into three. We have a cafe, we have a Nepali hot food, and we have snacks, right? And where we have a sitting spot where people can sit, just kind of like we try to make people feel very welcome, acknowledged. I don't want we don't want to come up as exclusive store. It's just walk in. This is community, right? So we do sometimes storytelling, events. We call it, business people just come and share the story, and that's what we've been always about, right? It's just like let's invest in people. Because business thing. I know John gonna be like rolling his eyes. Like I always say, right? It's just like you can make money by selling drugs too, but what's the legacy you're gonna? What's the story you're gonna tell your kids?
Yeah.
What's the story you're gonna tell your wife at the end of the day? Hey, we're so proud.
Are you still doing delivery?
No,
That's where it started,
yeah,
but
like
it
we
evolved
move a lot of like our operation to online delivery because it's just like right now we have 5 people, so like at Muju we have a lot going on, right? We're not trying to become a franchise or anything, but so what we do is like we have a refugee grandmothers who make momos, which is Nepali dumpling, right? So and then right now we started supplying, so we sell frozen dumplings, so we're bringing it out. So we have people who are making sauce, the hot sauce, right? So we're trying to bring that product to the market, right? We have ghee. Ghee is like concentrate version of a really high concentrate version of the butter.
It's
so it's
a lot healthier to
right.
cook
So
with,
now
yes.
it's refugee mothers have been making that for all their life, and we have a local farmers who have butter. So they need for Muju they need to come together.
Yeah.
So now refugee mothers buy like 400-500 pounds of butter from local farmers, Amish community, turn them into ghee, right? And then we ship it to like Ohio, down all the way down to Florida. So like Utica's ghee among people who buy it is a kind of quality apple, So that's kind of thing we are very invested in. It's just like we have people coming in and they want to make a hot sauce out with TLC in it, So like those kind of things, how we always kind of listen, entertain to, like, but at the end of the day, it's just like how we as a community can progress together. That's the goal, That's the thing we want to drive home at the end of the day. Yes, we need to look at the number. We need to look at the unit economics down to penny. But it's just like, at the end of the day, can we win together? Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, if the rooster goes down, the Muju will go up with the Muju. That's not how the economics work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, you got to be super weird in your mind to think that.
Well, it's a scarcity mindset.
You know what I mean? But it's just like that's not how the money moves in the market, right?
A lot of people think that, right? If you have
well, that's
something
what a lot
I
of
can't.
people were complaining about is like,
Where is Muju located?
So it's on a 26 Champlain. It's kind of like, I don't know if you know Uncle Garage, like
So it's Champlain.
Yeah. It's kind of little like few doors down from there.
okay.
Cool.
So it's kind of like our parking lot is Utica, our building is Yorksville. So we belong to 315. Let's keep it that way.
You're right in the middle. Yeah.
So that's where we are with the Muju. But that we love it. Like we love like going in and just like talking to people. It just one of the like just kind of like the beautiful experience have been it just people coming together.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the recent example is we are not a restaurant, we are not a cafe, we are not right where people are expected to tips, for a tip, but they started leaving a tip right on the counter, and we found like increasingly that's like going up, but that's never part of our finance. You know, that's not.
It's not expected. Yeah,
it's not part of our. We don't do finance on the tips.
Yeah.
Like, so then we connected with the local soccer team who brings kids from the inner city. The goal is how to help them build character through soccer. So we're like, yeah, the best use of tips will be all going to the team.
Oh, that's amazing.
You know, so that's all Muju about. You know?
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. You got a lot going on.
Yeah.
You're working till 3-4. Do you sleep?
I try to.
You gotta check the app. Make sure you're getting enough sleep.
Right.
How does the app? You know, this is kind of a nerd out thing, but like, how does it know how long I slept last night?
So like when you breathe, there is a gap. So it kind of listens to the sound. So like, you know, when there is a varied where you're breathing fast, so it knows your heart has not rested well. So for us, like when it scans, it kind of like counts the color change right here. How many times it's kind of like going up, down, and how the color is changing. So so that math like turns into the battery.
And this is a problem you couldn't have solved 20 years ago.
No.
Or 30 years ago. You know, it's what you've done is truly amazing with identifying a problem, leveraging technology, packaging it so it's simple and affordable.
Right.
And what a time to be alive. Like, you know, we simply didn't have this.
No.
Not too long ago. And now you're doing it, and you're doing it right here in Utica. I love it.
Yeah. No, that's a point I'm very proud of, that we are doing it here. And then like, you know, like a lot of people ask me, why did you move to Utica? It's like, I tell them, Utica is my redemption. Right? I'm not doing any favor to Utica. Utica have saved me. My job as SBDC has saved me by bringing me back here. Right? So I'm grateful that we get to do this here in Utica. Right? Not in Boston. I know there is ecosystem. I can, you know, walk into the VCs, you know, all this thing. But I'm glad we're doing it here. With my family, with our people, we're doing it here. And we have access to those resources.
That's awesome.
You know?
Yep.
Great work, Ujj. And we're grateful you're doing it here as well. We end all these with some rapid fire questions. Some are easier than others. We'll see how we did.
Okay. First job you ever had?
In US or Nepal?
First job.
Nepal.
Yep.
Nepal. Carrying those donation on my bike to the villages.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, I got paid for that. So
you did get paid.
Yes, I did get paid for that.
There
you
go.
Other than Nyano, what's one app you can't live without?
Spotify.
Okay.
I got to have a music on my ears.
Yeah.
Early bird or night owl?
It depends on the pressure. I'm sorry. I mean, that may not be
that's
expected answer, but
you could say both. I mean, if you're...
Don't apologize. You're
so
the guest.
when my back is on the fire, time really don't matter.
Yeah, that's a good...
What's something new you've learned in the past 30 days?
Make things complex in the back, but keep it very super stupidly simple outside.
Hard to do.
Hard to do, yeah. But I'm just learning it, you know. So because like people don't need to know how complex I can understand. People need to know how simple it is.
Yeah. I was blessed with never being smart enough to overcomplicate things. So I keep things simple because that's all I know. I can only imagine having your brain.
Oh my God.
It's just, that's a blessing though, you know. So.
What's the most useful piece of advice you've ever received?
Just be grateful and enjoy the process. You know, because like, I mean, just to explain on that, it's just like sometimes people like me, sometimes we can be driven by this like a reward thing. At the end of the day, we want a reward. But it's just a process, you know. Talking to you is a blessing, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like I will drive back to my work, sit on my desk, and talk to clients. Every day is a process, right? Because once we hit the goal, there is another goal. There
Yep.
is another
Sure.
milestone. There is always a scope of things that is adding to
Yeah.
our list. It just can I, breathe in and just enjoy. That's
Great answer. Let's go back to simplicity. Describe Nano in 3 words.
check on yourself.
What's one thing you want future kids or future entrepreneurs to know?
Fall in love with the problem.
Yeah.
Fall in love with the problem. Like, you got to fall in love with the problem. Learn to be uncomfortable. Learn to be passionate and like, learn to understand the problem in numbers, with emotion, with passion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't go with the noise of being rich and all this thing. Those things are shallow.
Great place to end. Money's a byproduct, right? I mean, it when you serve others, when you do it for the right reasons, when
Right.
you're solving problems, the money takes care of itself.
No, and at the same time, I wanted to add on to that too. It's just like, you to do that, you don't have to be entrepreneur. Like, for example, if you don't buy the stock of tobacco, you're doing a favor to the community.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not investing your money in war product, you're benefiting the society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're not investing or buying a bond of the country that is causing war,
Mm-hmm.
you're still doing the community. So I'm just like trying to bring it to the
that's a
the
great
regular
point.
person
And-
too.
and,
It's
you
not
know,
like entrepreneur like us. We're trying to make the world better,
Right.
but it just with the limited resource. Also, like, if you not invest in tobacco, you're still doing a favor and making world better place.
This is no knock on Amazon at all, but high level example of what you're talking about is, we hear a lot like, oh, Amazon ran local retailers out and there's no more mom and pops because Amazon, and and to your point, Ujj, if we all stopped, if that was really important to us,
Right.
or it was important, stop using Amazon.
Right.
There is no Amazon without us using it.
Right.
Exactly.
So they didn't kill the mom and pop, we did.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So many good things going on. What a blessing to have you and your wife here in our community. Social entrepreneur. I came into this conversation not knowing what it is. I'm better now for knowing it and knowing you, and super excited to see where Nano goes and Muju in the future. So, Ujj
Thank
Rai.
you.
Well,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you for having me.